think, Julian, you've inspired me to start a new expensive hobby in building Gunpla.
That's amazing, Ivan, because I just spent like almost $200 on Gundam building materials last night. It was great. And the Gundam was only $20.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So here's the... I was like looking at all of my D&D minis, and I was like, this is low-level shit. A, they're all pre-ordered, painted.
Oh,
B,
no. Yeah.
they're so small I don't want to do them. But Gunpla, it'll be big. It'll be part of like
big
a
enough,
collection.
anyways.
It'll really feel like an achievement.
Yes, they're so cool, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with them, including spray painting, or you can get an airbrush, scribing, Yvonne. You can scribe on these things. How cool is that? And then you can highlight the scribe with like markers. It's sick. I'm so excited. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm literally gonna do something so basic. For my first one, I ordered Zaku 1. And that's from the basic ass enemy from original Gundam, basically.
Yeah. Wait, did you order the Zaku? You got the Zaku one, not the one, because in your Discord, if anyone wants to check that out, Jujubee's Good Discord, there was a debate over which Gunpla you were going to go with. You almost went with Char Aznable's Zaku from Char's Assault.
Yes,
which is also super cool. I love all things Gundam. It's great.
Don't worry, I'm going to get to those Gundam. I just wanted to start off with that one. I wanted to do this one because it has a lot of large flat surfaces that are all... The cool thing about the original designs of Gundam were they were pretty minimalistic. They weren't like very intricate, and that I think aids pretty well for a beginner when it comes to customizing. You can do a lot of stuff with it. I'm basically just gonna spray paint it black and gold. I'm gonna try to make it a black Zaku with gold highlights, so we'll see if that works out. That's as simple as I'm gonna go, and then from there, I mean, it's a $20 model. If I fuck it up, it's still, it's a decent amount of money, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm excited for that.
I think the paint's gonna be more expensive.
The paint is close to more expensive. I got one spray paint for... I got a gold spray paint bottle for $4 because it was on sale from Tamiya. And then the other one was $11. So it's close. It's close. Very close. Everyone. Thank you for indulging our nerdy weeb talk for the past 4 minutes. But welcome to the Hungover Podcast, episode 147. Today we're going to be reviewing the newest Mortal Kombat movie. It's going to be frickin' sick.
We have to come up with something really cool to do for episode 150.
We only have 2 weeks. 3 weeks?
3
2 weeks. 3 weeks, technically.
Here we go.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna check out today is the new Mortal Kombat movie that Julien watched, and he's like, "This is our new podcast topic," and I was like, "I was gonna watch it anyway, so it fits it all." Unlike, I don't know. I'm very tired this morning.
I'm sorry, I
got my second Moderna shot last night at 7 p.m. I'm just hoping I don't die today.
Yeah,
that's my real goal.
Are you feeling like crap? I'm really sorry it fell on this time period. You have like a 12-hour window where you're going to be, well, hopefully not, feeling like shit. And this is the only 12-hour time period that we left to record this podcast.
I don't know. I in fact got drunk last night. Under the advisement of all people from the CDC, don't do that. And I was like, fuck that.
I did it too. So,
but I woke up today. I feel good.
Oh, this is, by the way, this is something that you don't get on the other Hungover podcasts. Live CDC reactions. We're giving
Live
you
CDC
a live.
reacts.
We're giving you a live Moderna shot reaction right now. This is awesome. This is peak internet. We did it. We did it, everyone.
Let's pack it up and let's go home. No need for the internet anymore. Yeah, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the day. But I'm specifically made no plans for today because I was well, I'm probably gonna get fucked. And I also chose to get it on a Friday so that I got fucked on a weekend and not a weekday, because I'm a moron who feels
employee.
Responsible.
Well, don't worry. That's very exciting news that you're fully vaccinated. Well, in 2 weeks you will be. Because what if you contracted COVID yesterday? That would be the worst. I'm sorry, but I'm so sorry. Anyways, Vaughn, what else have you been up to? You got a shot in the arm?
Yeah, man.
It's early in the morning?
I tried some West Cork whiskey yesterday. The bourbon cask. It was pretty good. Not gonna lie. It's not like
Where's that from? Kentucky?
It's Irish
West
whiskey.
Cork. Oh, West actual Cork. Sorry.
Yeah.
The place Cork. That's cool.
It's a very drinkable.
Is it smoky?
Pretty sweet. It's not smoky. It's aged in bourbon casks because that's the popular new thing today.
Wait a second. They acknowledge bourbon in Ireland?
I know.
That's interesting. What the hell?
It's a what's it called? A mix or whatever? I'm blanking. I woke up like 10 minutes ago. A blend. Thank you.
Is it a blended whiskey?
It's a blended Irish whiskey. So
cool.
It's, it's not going to be the top tier of anything. It's a reasonably priced bottle.
Blended whiskeys are good. They can be good.
I think they did the right blend for it to be smooth with a little bit of a bite. It's pretty sweet. I think it could have more powerful flavors, but I think that's not what they were going for. I think they were going for just a smooth drinking whiskey that's like something that you could enjoy with friends for a while, rather than having to like sip it, put it down, walk around, go read a book, come back to it, sip it, go, oh, smooth,
it's so
and then
good.
come back.
I spent so much money on this. I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's not one of them whiskeys, so it was pretty interesting, and I enjoyed it. I didn't get as much of the bourbon flavor as I was hoping from the cask infusion.
So it just made you want to have a bourbon.
I mean, I'm more familiar with the bourbon taste, so like when you have something that like gives the hint of the bourbon, you're like, maybe I just wanted bourbon. But yeah, and then I've been drinking a lot of White Claw this whole week.
Hell yeah!
Before we left, we got donated to our household a 12-pack or whatever.
That's
of
nothing.
White Claw, and Laura has had exactly 0 of them, and her guests have had 1 of them. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll handle this for everybody. Don't worry." So we started the week with 11, and now we're down to 3.
Oh my god, that's so many. Which flavors? You got a grab pack bag?
It's the grab pack. Can we talk about the fact that nobody in their right mind would want... wait for it, Julian. Nobody in their right mind wants the raspberry or black cherry flavors of White Claw.
They don't?
Always make your flavored seltzer water, spiked seltzer. Just make them citrus flavors.
Yeah, lime or lemon.
That's all we need. We need the lime, maybe some lemon. The grapefruit is amazing.
Grapefruit's good.
Nobody in their right mind wants to go, this tastes like medicine.
Yeah. The watermelon one is questionable either. Also, Nikki likes the mango one, but that's because she loves mango anything. So I guess.
But that's a tropical fruit. I guess it's not citrus, but
it's got some citric acid in it. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, White Claw. Look, we're looking out for your best interests. You should probably sponsor us because Spike Seltzer went away once you started dominating the market with your fucking fat dick. Just slapping every fucking Spike Seltzer off the table. You're like, bitch, fuck this shit. White Claw.
What I'm saying is that, like Bud and other beer brands are invading the spiked seltzer market, and you need to reach an audience that I think our podcast will reach for you.
Yeah, us. Okay, yeah, we would love to receive White Claw and always have a White Claw shot on our podcast.
I would absolutely do it. I would literally travel around with a White Claw just to have that, because I think I've done this podcast in a different location for over a month straight.
That'll be awesome. That's great. So you've been drinking nice whiskey and
nice whiskey and White Claw.
Okay, great. You should have mixed them. I know you didn't have them in the same place, but then you'd have a highball.
The middle management's dream.
Yeah, that's the dream. That's great, man. That's good to hear.
I haven't been able to check out too much else other than the Mortal Kombat movie. Laura put on Mission Impossible 2. We started watching it, but I kind of got bored, so I bounced out of that one.
Does that have Tom Cruise in it? No. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, it does?
Yeah. Oh. Not the series, but because Tom Cruise is in all the Mission Impossibles.
He's in all the movies. I couldn't remember if the original Mission Impossible was a series or a movie series.
Well, I think the Mission Impossible series was a TV series in like the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense. Fuck that. Anyways, well, look, Tom Cruise is gone off his rocker, so he's
still a charismatic actor. It's really hard. Like, as soon as he's on the screen, you're like, that's not Tom Cruise, that's whatever he's playing.
I like Minority Report a lot.
Have you seen Live, Die, Repeat?
No, I haven't.
We should absolutely review that.
Okay, we can do that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, because Emily Blunt's in it, and she's like a solid piece of muscle, and she's
nice,
pretty top notch.
Very cool. Well, good. We'll have to do that. Well, Mon, if that's all you did, let me tell you, I've been getting into some things that I
doubt
can remember. Of course, I watched the Mortal Kombat movie. Very excited to talk about that. But finally, I tracked down some. I've been getting into one. I don't know if I told you, but I got some Diplomatico. Amazing.
So good.
Rum. That stuff is so good. I thought I told you, but maybe I didn't. But I think I did. But maybe not on the podcast.
Sponsor the podcast.
That would be the best sponsorship.
Number one beverage that we've had this year.
Diplomatico. If you're looking for rum of any sort, get Diplomatico. That stuff is top. Holy shit. But anyways, I've been trying to. I don't know why I think I'm going through like a midlife crisis right now. I'm like I'm trying to like recreate all my childhood things. Like I'm trying to get my GameCube working again. So I purchased this thing. This thing's sick. If you have an older GameCube, I got super nerdy with this shit. If you have an older GameCube model, it has a digital display port. It's not actually display port, but a digital port where you would plug in your cables to.
It's not a DVI?
No, it's not DVI. I guess whatever. Anyways, They took of the newer models of GameCube towards the end of its life cycle. Nintendo realized no one wanted that port, or no one was using that port, so they stopped manufacturing it with it. But I happen to have an older one. But you can plug in component cables.
I'm surprised you don't have both, an older one and a newer one.
I might get another one. You can plug in your component cables to that port because of digital. I've been getting really into this. So there's like two subsects of, like, in America, we all adopted a component as a means of displays, or whoever decided that. I guess the American tech companies, or maybe it was a government thing. Who fucking knows? But in Europe, they used RGB, so they all have what's called a SCART cable. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
No. I know that there are different standards between North America and Europe because whenever we wanted to watch Russian movies, we had to have a VCR that would basically play PAL and...
Right, exactly. There's PAL and NTSC. Yeah.
Yeah.
And NTSC is definitely superior to PAL. No offense to PAL. Because it's 60 frames per second as opposed to 50. So I don't know where they were going with that. But if you have this digital output, you can purchase one of these, which is really great. It plugs into both ports of your GameCube. And you can... Anyways, that digital output can display... You can plug in official GameCube component cables, which are now $250 plus. They're very expensive. Nintendo only made like 5 of them, apparently. But they made a lot of Wii component cables. This will connect to HDMI and Wii component cables at the same time as both ports. So you can display out to that. Then I also purchased the OSSC, which is a really great affordable line doubler. So it will up-res your analog signal and display it via HDMI at a respectable resolution as opposed to... So it'll take, for instance, the GameCube maximum output resolution. Not all games ran at 480p, but its maximum output resolution was 480p. This will double the line without any lag input, which you would typically get with these types of converters, and then it'll display it, I think, at like 720. I have to figure out the exact settings, but you can optimize your shit. This thing that I purchased...
The future is now!
The future is finally now. This line doubler is very confusing to me, so I need to figure it out. It looks like it was put together by... You know I don't know his name. The guy, they just hired him at Linus Tech... Not just hired him. They hired him like maybe a year or two ago at Linus Tech Tips. He's the bigger guy who always talks about... Anthony. I really like that guy. He's so cool.
I like most of the stuff.
I like all of them. Camera. I'm not saying I don't like any of them.
Yeah, Julien was just saying that he hates most people on Linus
I don't like
Tips
Linus.
And only likes Anthony.
I do really like Anthony, though. He's so nice. But it looks like something that someone who likes Linux... It looks like a Raspberry Pi, essentially, but with a really shitty LCD screen on it. But it will essentially double... So it doubles the line. So that means it doubles the amount of pixels without any input lag, which I don't understand how that exactly works, but it's pretty cool. And I'm very excited to optimize it. And then I'll be able to stream retro games. And then I'll be able to go back and get like a Sega Saturn and a Sega Dreamcast, which I found are actually not incredibly expensive. The Video Games New York and both Brooklyn Video Games and Video Games New York, I'm lucky I have access to these stores. They have like countless numbers of them, and they're like, I mean, they're $100, but realistically for an old piece of tech that could potentially be like $300-$400. Who knows? But they're selling them for like $100 refurbished, so I'm pretty excited about that.
I might
excited.
hit you up for ordering one of them through you, by the by.
Yeah, if you want, I'll definitely send it to you. You can actually order it from Video Games New York website. They ship. They're very By the way, I have to give them props. They're a very professional business. They're awesome out there. I didn't expect, like, typically at these gaming stores, they're I don't know, like, they could be run by dicks, but these guys are really, like, just some pretentious nerd in the background tinkering with some
like the classic buddy. Simpsons character.
Yeah, exactly. They could be run by that guy, but Video Games New York, very nice guys there. They're definitely used to people coming into the store just to window shop, because they have they have 3 rows of retro shit, and they have in the back, oh my god, they've got a PlayStation 3 signed by fucking Hideo Kojima, and they're selling it for like, yeah, they're selling it for like $2,500. They also
that doesn't sound like that much.
Exactly. And they also, it's like a Metal Gear Solid shit. It's so cool. But I'm also as we were discussing in the front of the podcast, I'm also getting into Gundam painting and collecting, so I'm fucking nerding out over that. I'm just living my basement dream life that I have always wanted to live, but don't have enough time to live now. It sucks.
So you're telling me you're finally getting to the point where you have, like, cash?
No, I don't. That's the problem. I'm just sending it. I'm just getting really fixated on it as a midlife crisis aged person would.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
It's happening early for us.
It's happening early for us because we've gone through a pandemic, and looking forward doesn't look so great. Anyways, Yvonne, also, I have to say, in other video game news, yesterday, PlayStation, or Housemarque, released a game on PlayStation 5, and it's exclusive. There's actually a game to play on PlayStation 5 now. It's great. What? And it's good. Oh my god. Returnal just released. This game is so sick. Holy shit. So Housemarque is the company that made Resogun and Super Stardust HD, the game that Daniel and I would play all the time. So they have lineage and twin stick shooters that is super awesome. I love their games. This game is a third person shooter that you can totally see when you see how the enemies attack you and how you can attack them with the guns. You can totally see where it's coming from, that it's coming from Housemarque. It's super cool. Like the attacks are very telegraphed and you have to dodge them in specific ways. And it's about this woman, this space explorer who crash lands on a planet, and every time she dies in the video game, she relives that experience. She wakes up again, crash landing on the planet. Yeah, it's Groundhog Day, but it's also a lot super inspired by Inception, not Inception, Interstellar, Alien. It's got all sorts of vibes from those movies. Metroid definitely in there. It's also a roguelike, which is, I didn't think I would like about it, but it makes sense with the story. They've figured out how to tell roguelike stories well now after Hades, nice. Which apparently told a great story. I didn't play it yet, but they've figured out how to tell more of the story every time you die. So it's like and she tells it through logs that she leaves herself on the ground, and you find them, and it's audio logs. It's like a BioShock in a way. This is a fantastic game, and
that's
of course
cool.
It's running at 4K 60, so it's beautiful. This game is awesome. You have to pick it up if you have a PlayStation 5. I can't suggest it.
I have no way of playing 4K.
I know. Oh well. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Look, these are the things you need to invest in.
Getting a 4K OLED TV though.
Right, but where's it gonna be, Yvonne? You gonna put it in Syracuse and then you're gonna leave? Or you gonna put it in New Orleans?
Most likely. That's what's gonna happen.
So then don't buy it. Anyways, Yvonne, oh my god, Returnal's so fun. I love this game. It's great.
That sounds
it's
awesome.
also incredibly
and I can't wait to have the opportunity to buy a PS5. I have been entering the new egg shuffle every day for like the past 10 days, and I have not gotten selected yet. I have 1 in 100,000 chance of getting selected, and it's creeping up on that time where I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
If it's no cost to enter, then why wouldn't you enter?
Yeah.
There you go.
But they sell everything in a bundle. Sometimes they have the PS5s on there. I'm totally cool with that. But I'm really trying to limit my opportunity to. I'm cutting that down because I want my opportunity just to buy the exact graphics card I want. I'm not in like a hurry to build my PC, so I only want like a white or a very like light silver graphics card.
And if you got it, you could still use it.
Yes, exactly. I already have like a white case, and I could remake that into a white build.
Right.
The only other thing is because they bundle it, they're bundling it with the. Usually it's either a really high-end B550 or an X570.
Very cool. That sounds very intense. But I haven't thought about building PCs in a while, but oh man.
I want an X570.
That sounds like fun.
But I want the Asus like Prime or the ASRock Steel Legends, like they have like a both of those are white with some accents boards. So I really have an idea of what I want for this machine.
Yvonne, if you're building this and you're not doing a custom water loop, I will be angry. That's all I'm saying.
But that means I have to get... So...
But why wouldn't you?
How do you do a custom water loop for a graphics card? Do you have to take the fans off and then put, like,
Yes.
Do you have to get the water block for the...
Yes.
So that makes it more difficult. Well, that means I could get whatever graphics card.
But then it yes.
Because I'm going to take the faceplate off anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, everyone. We just solved a problem here on the podcast, but you know what didn't get resolved? Much of anything in the Mortal Kombat movie. Just kidding. Everything got resolved. It's over. Boy. Mortal Kombat won't have Mortal Kombat 2. You know why? Because all the questions that you had were answered in this fantastic film. I don't even know who directed it, to be honest. No, I do. It's a British guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. I watched the two... On HBO Max, I watched the two. I didn't know they were trailers for the movie, but I thought there was going to be like a mini documentary. Oh, this is cool about the movie. But it was just essentially a trailer for the movie. They had these two little excerpts.
I got stuck in that too.
So annoying. I didn't want to watch that. They're like, oh, I played the game. We're trying to make the game like the movie like the game. We're trying to reach back to our heritage. Playing this game. My mom didn't like me when I played this game, but look at me now, Mom. Those are exact quotes from those stupid mini excerpts on HBO Max. I'm not editing this out.
This is his first movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like John Wick?
That's crazy. Everything
that wasn't
else
that guy's first
on
movie,
his website is like commercial work.
Wow. So he made a Hollywood blockbuster film about a very popular franchise, video game franchise, and IP, I would say, and did a pretty decent job, I'd have to say. I like this movie. It was fun.
All right, what did you like about it?
I I like the way that I did actually think that they paid homage to the game. As corny as the games are, I think they paid homage to the games pretty well. Which I think is both important, but also kind of... Oh, it's so hard to make a video game movie, and I'm not saying I know how to make it, but I certainly know that no one has achieved a good, like a really good video game movie.
What are you talking
this
about?
One
Doom wasn't perfect?
I didn't even see it, and I know I don't need to. But this movie, I think, comes pretty darn close to making a video game movie that's palatable. I like I thought that the characters had pretty cool backstories. I mean, obviously they're playing off of Mortal Kombat lore, and I thought that they had a good selection of characters from the games. Obviously, you got Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kano. I like Kano as a character, so I thought it was pretty cool that he was in the movie, and the combat.
I didn't know Kano was such a dick.
Cool. Yeah, that's his thing. He's a dick. Kano wins. And I like that there was... I guess my thing is I don't really like Mortal Kombat to begin with. I know it's blasphemous, but I just don't like those games. I don't think they're fun to play. I'm a big fighting game fan, as we all know, but I like Tekken and Street Fighter. I don't really like Mortal Kombat. I think it's kind of a stiff game, personally. I know it's gotten pretty popular and good. Like the past 3 games have been pretty good. They're all at Evo and things like that, big tournaments. And I know that if you're gonna buy a fighting game as a casual fan, not to play online necessarily, and to get good at, Mortal Kombat's probably your best purchase because it has the most single player content. The games are good games in terms of giving you a value, but I just don't like the gameplay that much, is what I'm saying. I do like some of the characters, but only because they have a legacy in fighting games, and they are cool characters, right?
Who
like
doesn't love
Scorpion.
Sub-Zero and
Scorpion and Sub-Zero are sick, and Raiden's sick. They're so cool, but I just don't like the gameplay, personally. I think they're all cool characters, don't get me wrong. They're well-designed characters. So that's where it comes in this movie, fucking Liu Kang and what's the other guy? I always forget.
Lao?
Kung Lao. Kung Lao's so sick. I thought they were super cool. I thought it was really cool to see like 4 out of the 10 main characters were Asian. That's sick. Or maybe even 5 if you include, I guess, Scorpion's a main character. That's sick.
Well, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao,
Liu Kang,
Raiden, but also
and
Cole?
The bad guy.
Isn't Cole?
He's like he's definitely like Korean.
Yeah, and then the bad guy is that actor who's been in everything.
He's in The Dark Knight. I'm good with calculation. I couldn't, dude. His line delivery is all like that. That's his typecast. He like always does this turn with his head. He's like, the Chinese will never extradite one of their own. Like, he'll always turn his head like that. It's so funny. I love that guy.
That's a bad habit.
It's a bad habit for him, and that's his line delivery in this movie. It's great. I forget, he's like the god of whatever. I don't know.
Sorcerer.
I forget his character's name, but he's in the most recent Mortal Kombat. So I like that. Okay, so the way they divided up characters in this movie is they sort of held whatever this guy, I forget his name. I think it's
Shang Tsung.
Chin. Oh yeah, that's the character's name. I forget the actor's name. It's Chin something.
Chin Han.
Chin Han. They have his character. You got Raiden. You got Sub-Zero, and you got Scorpion. They're all held up on like a pedestal. They're like super god tier characters. Of course, they're great characters. And if you're gonna hold anyone up to that level, it's those characters in this franchise. But they're sort of separate and above the other characters who are sort of like pawns in this movie in a way. Like they're going to be in the tournament, as opposed to Sub-Zero and Scorpion being in the tournament.
Well, I thought Sub-Zero was always planning on being in the tournament.
Right. I guess
he's like the champion of
he's
Beyond Realm
Shin
or whatever.
Sung,
Outer Realm.
Outer Realm. So I thought this movie sort of failed in that, or not failed in that. I kind of wanted them all to be on a level playing field. I would have rathered that and have them fight together. That would have been super sick. And then also, I'm kind of disappointed there was no actual tournament. We talked about tournaments last week on the podcast. We all know how much I like tournaments. And this whole fucking game is about a fucking tournament, just like Tekken. Where's the tournament? Why didn't it happen?
I'm not gonna lie, I was also really disappointed in that. I have a feeling that it was due to limited background actor availability.
Oh, like yeah, you think so? Yeah, like this is actually a good example. This is a movie that I think was made during the pandemic, right? I'm not sure when they filmed this stuff.
It feels like it was.
You know more about, I'm not saying every movie has a different schedule timeline, but you know more about how movies are filmed. Typically, the footage you're seeing was filmed probably a year, maybe in the case of Zack Snyder Cut, 3 years prior, right? Yeah. Okay, so it was filmed in 2019?
Yeah, just prior to COVID. But they did pick up shots in 2020.
Okay, so, right, and then you have pickup shots, which are shots that are shot after the fact when they need to fill something in while editing. So if they were filming in 2019, maybe it was a limited budget situation. They spent all the CG budget on Goro and that Goro fight. Look, so what I didn't really like Cole in this movie. I thought he was kind of a throwaway main character. I don't even know if he's a character
in the game.
I don't think he's in the game.
I was like trying to figure out like
who he was,
how I didn't know this guy.
Yeah, I have no idea who the fuck he was. And then and then the other character that wasn't a character in the game was that harpy girl. He's like, look at her beauty. She is so beautiful. The dragon girl, she's not a character in the game. She's literally put in the... Captain Video told me this. Shout out to Captain Video, one of my moderators in the chat. He told me that she was thrown in the movie just to show Kung Lao's fatality, which was absolutely grotesque. But it's also really cool.
She wasn't Nitara?
Who, the dragon lady?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she's not in the game. But I guess I'm probably... I also haven't played Mortal Kombat. I've only actually... In recent years, I've only played Mortal Kombat 10. I didn't play 11. And then also, who the fuck knows Mortal Kombat 2 through 8? There's so many Mortal Kombat games. I assume maybe there's a character
Nitara's
like
in the game. She's
in the game?
Mortal Kombat character.
Why didn't they give her a name? He's just, look at her. She's so beautiful. That was his thing.
She's in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which I don't know when it came out.
Deadly Alliance sounds like a fucking mobile game to me.
It was PS2.
PS2? Fuck it. Whatever. Who cares?
And Game Boy Advance.
There we go. Now we're talking. Well, she's clearly a throwaway character because she's literally there and then she dies. So.
Yeah, that's literally the purpose of her in this.
I guess the movie's called Mortal Kombat. What did you think about the combat? Move on.
So I really would have liked to have a tournament, but I understand that after playing the game, you kind of like, how does this tournament function if there's so many levels that look so different from each other, right? So I think you're the writing and direction team were like, how do we present this tournament's style structure without getting into the logistics of why there are so many different levels in a Mortal Kombat game? And I think they actually answered that question pretty well, although it would have been great to have a tournament too. But maybe Mortal Kombat 2 will be more one location kind of style.
I don't understand why they even mentioned the tournament if they weren't going to have it.
They needed a MacGuffin, man.
Look, what? Because they're referencing this tournament. It happens every 100 years or whatever the fuck it is. The outer realm takes on the fucking earth realm. It's gonna be crazy. We're drawing badass fighters from across the world. They all have this mark. They're drawn to this tournament. We have to have the tournament.
But that's why you leave it so that in Mortal Kombat 2,
so you
can have the tournament against people from not Outer World, but other places.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's fair, but so they have to have the origin story. Whatever.
So
Cole's origin story.
I think what was cool about a lot of the fights is like, they did have real world-class martial artists. And yes, they had some locations that were a mix of practical and CG, so you got some of the fights you really felt grounded in them. Some of the fights you didn't. Like, I would say the fights in Raiden's temple, the fights in the abandoned building, were great. I think it was a funny homage to get into the octagon at the end. And you could feel how each of the spaces kind of dictated a little bit more about the fight. But there comes a thing. I don't know what it was in terms of the choices or limitations that were available, but I think that the director was like, if I show all of the action super tight, you can see that this is real martial arts. You can see all the punches and movements. But also because of modern editing style, it was a little quick. I am a reasonably astute viewer of like hand-to-hand combat. I've never studied any of it. I'm not able to look at a guy and be like, oh, he's using sambo. Oh, he's using jujitsu. I know kung fu.
Karate.
But I'm like, I can look at a shot and see what's visually pleasing, and there's a big difference between how long you can stay on a shot in John Wick and how long they stood on a shot in Mortal Kombat. Was it as bad as Iron Fist and that some of the sword fighting scenes in Game of Thrones? Absolutely not. It was actually pretty good, but it was enticing. It was teasing, because for me, I didn't really want these tight shots where you're like, look at all of these moves. They're such skilled martial artists. I want it pulled back just a little bit so I could see full body frame and see how they're grounding themselves, how their movements connect to each other, just to see a little bit more. I felt like the scope of the fights was a little too narrow, and if you pulled back to like a mid shot, or then you would be able to see more. And I'm not saying that they had to be exclusively there, like zoom in, zoom out, but I didn't feel like there were enough shots where I could see both bodies full scale fighting each other, and that made me like a little confused sometimes during the fights.
I agree. I think that was yeah, for a movie that should be all about it's fucking combat. It's all about the combat. So I think they should have highlighted that a little bit more, as opposed to just doing the old Hollywood go at it, and have the quick cuts, and the really tight shots of whatever body part it is, and and in this movie, I guess a lot more than just that.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit. I think it was quite a bit actually. More experienced fighters coming together. I don't know what their shooting schedule was like, because if it was their original months were like September to November, that seems really like a short amount of time to get all of these fights choreographed and executed. So I think it was probably a limitation of time to get it to the level where sometimes they felt comfortable to get the shots that come out, or the longer sequences put together. But I think with the time limitations that they had, it looks good. I hope that if they do make a Mortal Kombat 2, that they get more time, more funding, so that they can really expand on those action scenes and really give us what we wanted. And I also think it would have been hilarious as an homage to the Mortal Kombat game,
to have that exact
start
framing
with a wide shot with the two people like bouncing up and down at the ends.
Yeah, I thought that would have been ideal. But I mean, speaking of homages, I think this movie does do some really cool things for the fans. Like I just specific to things like Kano wins, and then fucking Kung Lao says fatality, or I don't know what he said. He said brutal. I don't know what he said. He said something, whatever they say in the end of the game.
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory. That was sick. They had the fatalities in there when when Kano was fighting. It was either Kung Lao or Liu Kang, and he just kept doing the low kick. He's like, stop spamming that move. It's so cheap. That was funny. And there was a few other things in there that I can't think of right now, but like the I would say, and I guess Kano is pretty much there for comic relief, other than being a plot device where he switches sides and being a bad guy. But the homages to the fans were all funny, and I think they landed pretty well. I like that. They weren't cringy or anything. There were a couple of things in the background that I saw that were pretty cool. Like in the abandoned factory, they had an input for one of the moves. Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's Sub-Zero's ice ball move. It's down forward light punch. They had that spray painted in the background. It's kind of cool. So that's awesome. I assume there were way more Easter eggs in the fucking shots. So that's really cool.
I liked how they integrated a lot of the like video game moves into the natural flow of combat.
Yeah, I think that was super cool. I did see that a lot. So I think this is a good happy medium between source material and Hollywood blockbuster. It's a good starting point, at least. And if we can get more movies like this in terms of integrating video games into movies, I think we're on a good track for getting like an actual good video game movie.
Can I say that
Yeah.
the one homage piece that I thought was the roughest was Scorpion's "Get Over Here"?
Yeah, I didn't. It did sound off. I don't know who did the audio for that. Who actually said the line? I don't know if it was.
They should have
Maybe
just done it in Japanese.
they could have. That would have been cool. Scorpion is a weird character now. He's a demon from hell. I mean, that's who he always was, but he's Japanese. Can he speak English? I guess. I don't
That's
know.
the one phrase of English that he speaks. I
That's
just think
fine, I guess.
just do it in Japanese and people will be. I think people would have been just as happy.
I don't. Also, I think the thing is the person who's always said that line. I think is Ed Boon, who is the creative director of Mortal Kombat, the game. It's always been his audio line, if I'm not mistaken. So it would have been cool. I'm not sure if they got him to do it, or maybe someone
I
in the
don't know.
comments can correct us. But maybe it would have been even cooler if they got him to do it for that specific scene.
The other thing that I thought they did really, really well is integrating the Mortal Kombat music throughout in like the score and like
Yeah,
the variations on a theme. I thought they did that really well without beating you over the top. And then, hammer it through at the end with the Mortal Kombat theme, which
I
is has always been a highlight of that game.
yes, I thought it was a good modern take on it. I didn't know if they were gonna do it based off of the trailers, but it's really good news that they integrated it at least a little bit. I would have liked it even more if they had it completely because I love that song. But like if they just played it throughout the entire last fight, that would have been crazy. It's sick. But it also would have been super corny and probably
Yeah.
turned out horrible. But it would have been great. Uh, what do you think of where the movie left itself off? Like, do you think we could have gotten more? Or do you think it's setting itself up for obviously a sequel?
Yeah, I think they left it pretty open ended with also closing out enough loops of the origin story that we can move on to something more interesting the next time. Um, do
Mm-hmm.
that layering thing of opening up the world a little bit more. Now we'll get to see other worlds, hopefully, in the next one. I really do hope that there's a next one. It gets a little bit more time to be made, maybe a little bit more money then, and that we can really nail down and focus on some things. But a Mortal Kombat movie without Sub-Zero sounds like,
I don't think he's dead. I don't think anyone's dead in this movie. I literally don't think. This is the type of game that glorifies killing people in grotesque ways, which I guess we should talk about briefly before we close out. Um, is and the death is in these games is literally highlighted. So I don't think if you saw a character die on screen, I don't think it matters at all. They're probably going to be in the next movie somehow.
other than Nitara, she's
Yeah,
fucking
she's
gone.
gone. What do you think about the few fatalities that they? I guess there were quite a few. Um,
It's a movie called Mortal Kombat, based on the
supposed
fighting
about it.
game Mortal Kombat. They're gonna be in there. I don't. I think there's something a little bit more visceral about having it be in the film versus the video
Video game.
games. But I think you know what you're getting when you go into it. So
What's your opinion on them in general? I've never really I understand it, but I also don't ever want to see it. You know what I mean? I get it. Like the first game, I guess they're still like riffing off the first game, I think, in a way, or like the original vision. Like it was supposed they made the original game, and it was supposed to be that way. Scorpion rips out the spine, and they're sort of like emulating that original vision in a way, and they're sort of like over the top, going over the top and building upon each iteration and trying to top themselves every single time, and I feel like I get that mentality. You know, it's super cool that there's a game that, I guess it's super cool there's a game that you can do this in, and that's the appeal to a lot of people when purchasing this game, especially casual fans, not or people who are not in the FGC super sick. And that's a huge appeal to a lot of people when they purchase this game. Like, you gotta get Mortal Kombat. It has this. Do you even know how to do this move, bro? It's sick. And like, I get that sort of idea, but I also am really grossed out by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that
I just
there's
don't like it that much.
Yeah, like the Kung Lao fatality was pretty gruesome.
That one's OD. Oh god. It gets me every time because I mean it's obvious. I've seen it many times in the game, and it was cool that they put it in the movie. That I guess that Hollywood allowed them to put it in the movie.
Yeah.
That I guess that's a different story. Like, how did they? Obviously, it's a rated R movie, but how did they get this past Hollywood? Because getting it past the ESRB must be a different process to getting it past whatever rating association is in Hollywood. Do you know anything about that?
I know that it's like from previous interviews of people dealing with it, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, when they do like the Team America World Police or whatever, it's like there's a certain amount of like swear words that are acceptable and things like that. So it's a mix of like guesswork and certain things are more or less acceptable. But I think violence has always been more acceptable than sex. So it's this like weird balance that like violence is okay, but show a titty and rated R immediately.
This is such a great place for movies. All right, Vaughn, I know you're feeling like shit right now. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep you here any longer. I hope we had a great conversation about Mortal Kombat for the people out there. Ivan got his second shot again, so, I mean, look, we can't keep him here. And we'll
give you the updates.
I have to go in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone enjoyed the movie. Tell us in the comment section below. We'll probably review the second one when it comes out in 2 years time or whatever. It's definitely going to come out.
Yeah.
This movie did well in the box office. So that's really exciting. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.